Hello everyone, this is Steve from GSM Tennis. I'm really excited to be here today because we got some really cool technology, and my buddy Steve actually is one of the, I always consider him an expert when it comes to racket technology, clothes, shoes, everything like that, and that's definitely not my tennis knowledge. So these guys are always the guys that I go to, amazing stuff, always have the knowledge base. They're the guys I trust the most. So I'll let Steve take it away. We got some really cool stuff for you today.
We're talking about the Babolat Pure Drive Play today. It's a new racket that's due out December 12th from Babolat. It is an integrated racket, and it is hooking up to your smartphone technology. The great thing about this is it's on an existing platform. It is Babolat Pure Drive, which obviously has been popular with Babolat for, it's a benchmark frame. There's no change in the frame whatsoever outside of the integration. A lot of people are wondering, well, if you're adding a motherboard in there, how's it going to play relative to its current?
Well, try and what's a motherboard? Maybe some people don't know what that is.
Well, to integrate into your smartphone, they have put a motherboard alongside of the handle here so that it can read what you're doing on the court, and then give you schematics and feedback as to what.
So it's kind of like a computer chip or something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So there's the one that reads what you do, and then there's in the cap here, there's an LED that indicates that it's on and that it's syncing to your phone. So that's right there. It's also a port for a small USB that you can charge the racket. It does need to be charged.
Okay. Just like your phone, it's got to be charged. I love it.
So, there is no change from the existing Pure Drive.
So, like, what would be the specs on it? Like
10.6 ounces or 300 grams.
Yeah.
It's the same balance as a regular Pure Drive. Beam width is the same. And most importantly is the playability. They haven't messed with the balance and the weight.
So you say when you hit with it, it felt exactly like the regular Pure Drive.
Absolutely.
So that's nice for people who are already using the Pure Drive. It's going to feel exactly the same. It's going to give you more feedback, though.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a great training tool. If you're already a Pure Drive player, I fully recommend getting one in your bag.
Yeah.
We know the local instructors that train with this racket will be utilizing this as a tool. And if it goes well, and based on early indications, it's going to go well, Babolat's going to integrate this into their entire line. So.
Yeah. And so would you consider this kind of like, almost like the iPhone of maybe tennis rackets? Like this might be where it's going?
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
10 years in production to get to this point. And I would imagine that other companies are going to scramble to catch up.
So then why don't you tell all our people on our team, people part of GSM Tennis, what kind of feedback will they get from this racket? What will it tell them?
Well, when the phone is synced, you can essentially go out for a match, go out for a training session, hit for however long you want.
Yeah.
Once you're off the court, you hold down this button right here. It will sync up to your phone and read that session.
Yeah.
At that point, it's going to ask you, how do you want to designate this? Do you want to designate it as a training session or a match? It will ask you what surface you played on, were you inside, outside, how you were feeling. So, if you felt like you're on top of your game, there's certainly an emoticon right there for you to say, yep, I felt great.
Yeah.
Then you essentially read what it gives you. It will give you a breakout of first serves, second serves, and it does that by reading the tilt of your racket and how much spin or power you were producing. They can't really generate miles per hour because that is so much based on what comes off your strings. But what they do read is the racket head speed, and it will give you a percentage of power based on 0 to 100%.
So I think that's really important. Can you say that one more time?
It will not give you a miles per hour readout.
All right, so if I hit a serve and it felt really good, it will not say 100 miles per hour.
But it may say that you used 90% of the capable power in the racket.
Ah, interesting. And what would be considered 100%? Like
Nadal.
Yeah. So they're basing it on Nadal. So if you hit a really good serve, it says 90%. I mean, that's a good serve because you're getting compared to Nadal. I mean, one of the best players ever.
So the funny thing is we tried to monkey with it and to see how you can mess with the computer.
Yeah,
inside
seeing
here.
if you can make a mistake, right?
And when you set up the application, you have to determine that you're righty or a lefty.
Okay.
So it will know based on the gyroscope that is built into the motherboard
Yeah.
that you're hitting a forehand or backhand, and that's how it generates that schematic readout.
That's just amazing.
And we said, well, what if you are rotating your racket while in between
Yeah.
shots?
Kind of
In
like Federer.
Right. In your backswing, it will find gravity and center the racket with the earth,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
that will give you a forehand or a backhand.
Yeah.
Now, we asked, well, how do you determine the difference between an overhead smash and a serve?
Sure.
Same motion, essentially.
Yep.
And it uses an algorithm that times the distance between shots, or not the distance, but certainly the time.
Time difference.
So
Yep.
if it's 4 seconds or greater, it's going to register that as a serve.
Wow.
If there's a shot that's 4 seconds
Yeah.
or less preceding that, it's going to register it as an overhead smash.
I can't imagine the amount of time, money, and research that has gone into this racket. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Babolat is pretty exciting.
Yeah. So, are there any negatives, any tweaks, anything that you would say
They're still
people
working.
should know about?
Yeah, there's definitely one. It can't tell between a volley and a forehand baseline shot.
All right, so it can't tell the difference between volleys or ground strokes. So if you're at the net playing doubles and you hit tons of volley
It's
winners,
just going to read it as forehands or backhands.
sure.
So-
All right. So that's a huge thing for you doubles players out there. It's going to be a great racket for singles players, obviously, because most of the time you're at the baseline hitting ground strokes. But if you play a lot of doubles, it might not be as accurate when you read it. Now you said that an app comes with it. What are some cool things with the app that you've noticed that you're like, wow?
Well, the app, like I said, isn't available until December 12th. It's called Babolat Play.
That love play.
The coolest thing is it will give you a readout as to where on the racket you are hitting your shots.
Is that cool?
It will give you all your shots for that session, including serves.
Wow.
And then you can select forehands or backhands.
Yeah.
And the areas will be here, 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 and then sweet spot. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Because you may think you're hitting the sweet spot, but I was hitting 60% of my shots north of it.
Yeah. I mean,
so-
I think that's amazing for a lot of you guys out there. That'd be perfect for almost, every level of player. If you go out there hitting and you're like, man, I felt really good today, but then you notice that, like you said, maybe 60% of your shots are north of the sweet spot. Now you know just where you're hitting the ball and why you might not have as much power and everything like that. I think that in itself is worth it, just because you can start practicing and seeing, are you actually hitting the sweet spot? Are you making good contact with the ball? That's unbelievable.
The other incredible thing was the spin.
Yeah.
The fact that it can pick up the angle of your racket and know that you're hitting a second serve slice.
Really?
Or, that you're hitting an approach shot on your forehand side. Obviously it's probably going to be a deep slice.
Yeah.
We sat there and, we'd hit 2 strokes.
Yeah.
And one would be a top spin and one would be slice. Like, really, is it going to be that accurate? And
Yeah.
it nailed it every single time. It nailed it.
Every time.
So,
Wow, amazing stuff. And I want to thank Steve for taking his time to be with us today and showing us the racket. One more time, what is it called?
it's a Babolat Play.
Babolat Play, exactly like the Babolat
Pure Drive.
Pure Drive. Comes out when?
December 12th.
December 12th. So you got to wait a little bit of time, a little bit, like one more month, or not even,
Not
right?
even.
A couple
Right around
more
the
weeks
corner.
actually. You can get it for the Christmas. You can give it to someone you really like who likes tennis. Amazing stuff. I think it's going to be completely changing tennis. We're going to see where it goes. And I just want to say one more time, thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank Les Moise for having us here. And until next time, everyone, take care.